This morning on Inside the Game, Charlotte interim head coach Sinead Byrne and the 49ers standout Amelia Brown join us live, as well as we preview tomorrow night's U.S. Open Cup final between Austin FC and Nashville. And the CHSL Boys Soccer Finals will find their home tomorrow night on the Michigan Soccer Network. That and more coming up right now.
Welcome to Inside the Game on the National Soccer Network. Now, here are your hosts, Jonathan Turner and Nathan Wangler.
Good morning and happy Tuesday. It is September the 3rd, the last day of September here. And I'm Jonathan Turner. That's Nathan Wengler, Ryan Glinsky, our producer. It is episode number 169 here of Inside the Game on the National Soccer Network. We're live on TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Roku. Nice. I mean, everywhere. We'll just say everywhere. We're live everywhere.
Yeah.
But Nathan, man, how are you doing this morning? You said traffic was terrible. What was so bad about traffic this morning?
The traffic was traffic. It was horrible. They're always working on something. They're always changing something. Grand Rapids is not a major city by any stretch of the imagination, but we're getting there traffic-wise. There's just so many people that don't live in the city. They live around the city, and then they go in the city to work, right? So you can set your watch to whatever traffic jam you got going on. I left the place that I was at 7:40 this morning, didn't get back until about 8:30. So, yeah, it was interesting, to say the least. But we have another couple of good conversations coming up on the show today. Exciting day around, really, sports in our area. Obviously, we got playoff baseball tonight. But some really good conversations this morning on our show. Again, woo! Let's hope.
Will it be that, or will it be wah, 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 wah?
If I had a guess, it'd be the
we got to lose two of them, though. Not that one-off wild card anymore, so we might actually have an outside chance. So there's that, at least.
So yesterday we had not one, but we had two guests on back-to-back. We didn't have a chance really to kind of dive into a lot of things that we normally would dive into in the show. But I did have a chance to go to my 25th high school reunion on Saturday night.
Damn.
And so
damn.
Sorry.
I did not go to my 10-year anniversary. Ryan is back there from the peanut gallery, giving his insight
I'm not even at
as
my
a
5-year
22-year-old.
You didn't even think about that one. That one just rolled off the tongue.
I'm not even at. Sorry, dude. I felt like Kevin Hart when he was doing that one interview and someone said he was like 16. Kevin Hart goes, "Damn." Sorry, John. Sorry. Continue.
Anyways,
it's okay. My wife was dreading it. She's like, I don't want to go to this thing, And it was just at a local bar. I was surprised we got there. There was like 60 to 70 people there. What I found in going to the high school reunion is that the cliques that existed then still exist today. It's like walking back, and you thought that maybe some of the clickiness or that would be less. Maybe people would be more open to talk and things like that, but it wasn't.
Bowling for soup said it. Once upon a time, high school never ends. Okay,
yeah.
That's the ultimate truth right there. It never ends. We're all just a bunch of grown babies.
We arrived at 7:42, and I left by 8:01.
Damn. That's more respectful.
That's that Simpsons meme of the guy that walks in, tips his cap, puts it back on, and walks out.
I'm outies.
I'm good.
Good
to see y'all.
I'm glad I went so that I know that I don't have to go ever again.
You said hello. Yeah, you showed up.
Yeah.
That's half the battle.
It is.
That's half the battle.
It is. So
you did your job. Was it an Irish goodbye? Was it just a turn around and get out of there?
I looked. My wife was like, "John, what do you want to do?" I'm like, "I want to go." So it's
good enough.
No, I said my hellos. Peace. And I said my hellos.
My high school reunions are just the local bar. in town.
Well, how many reunions have you had? I mean, how old are you again? Like
you
10?
haven't had.
22.
He's 22. How many reunions could you
have a
have?
5-year
You have one every
reunion?
year?
Yeah, it's called the Bars.
Okay,
It's like once a week.
Oh, Bart with the boys.
That doesn't
With
count.
the boys.
Anyways,
that doesn't count. Yeah, that's not.
we have a great show here today. A great show. We've got Charlotte Women's Soccer interim head coach Sinead Byrne here with us, as well as standout player Amelia Brown, a senior who plays there for the 49ers as well. They will join us here on the other side of this break. We will preview tomorrow night's U.S. Open Cup final. Again, Nashville, Austin, that game taking place, I believe, in Austin tomorrow night. And then, hey, we just announced it this morning. We are going to be handling the production and the broadcast tomorrow of the CHSL finals. We did it. We've done. This is the third year in a row we've done this. So, and we have a brand new partner that we'll announce as well. Soccer World is the presenting partner of that. Those two games here tomorrow night. So we'll dive into that. But great show lined up. Don't go anywhere. 169 continues after this.
The stage is set for championship glory. Tomorrow night, the Catholic High School League Boys Soccer Finals take center stage, presented by Soccer World. The best teams in the CHSL battle it out under the lights, while with bragging rights and the title on the line. Intensity, passion, and high-level soccer you won't want to miss. Coverage begins tomorrow night only on the Michigan Soccer Network.
Welcome back here into Inside the Game on this Tuesday morning. That was the commercial right there, produced here this morning. Talking about those matchups tomorrow. Those games can be exciting. We've had games that go. We've had, I think 2 years ago, we had red cards all over the place. I think there was like 5 red cards in that game. I mean, shootouts. I mean, it has. And when I say shootouts, I make clear, it's on the field. I had to make sure I specified that. Because anyways, but yes, so we've had some great matchups in these games, and tomorrow night they're at local universities where we are the production company for OU, so we'll handle those tomorrow night, and we're excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have competitive, clean matches, but, it's also when you talk about the CHSL finals, you're going to get that. You're going to get drama, and I think we all like drama. I think we're all American. I think we kind of dig into that. We enjoy that. But, yeah, there was a sea of red, at least in some of the games last year, but some tough competitive matchups obviously coming up in this one.
That they are. Well, so let's dive into our guests here this morning. Sinead Byrne and Amelia Brown, both from the Charlotte Women's Soccer Program, are joining us right now. And we want to say good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Well, we are excited to have you here on Inside the Game. And as we were talking kind of here a little earlier, we've had a chance to talk to a lot of coaches across the United States here over the last couple of weeks. And we're excited to have a chance to talk with both of you, even though obviously one of you is a player next year, coach, which is great as well. But my first question is for you, and Sinead, is you're the interim head coach. You've taken over this role now. I know you came in as an assistant back in January, but talk about the challenges of being an interim head coach at Charlotte here in your first year.
Yeah, it's honestly been great. What an opportunity. So came in January, lucky enough to be elevated to interim head coach. And I couldn't have inherited a better team that wanted to raise the expectations of the program, wanted to compete for a championship here straight away. And so we had a really great spring, scored a lot of goals. The girls went into the summer, worked really, really hard, and have come back ready to compete. And so we've come in, we've won 5 games. We've won more games already than they won last year. And the team are doing great. And so obviously we just got back from a long trip down to Texas there, where we were unlucky not to come back with the 6 points. We've come back with 4, and we've got a big game coming up this week here against UAB.
And that's a big role to get launched into, especially after you were at SCAD Savannah for 6 years. And I always like to mention this every interview that I can. I came from the NAIA myself, so I used to broadcast at Cornerstone University, same level. But you come from there where you guys had a lot of success, and then you're launched into this position where you were an assistant. Now you're the head coach. And that's a very quick transition. What's been the biggest leap for you going from where you were at SCAD Savannah to now? And what's been working well for you guys? Because obviously things have been clicking here early in the season.
Yeah, I think the big thing for me is I feel like SCAD really prepared me for this role. I was ready. I really wanted to become a head coach. I had opportunities to leave before then, but was kind of looking for the right spot. When this job came open at Charlotte, I really wanted to come into a program that had the resources and had the location to win championships. And I felt like that's what Charlotte is. So really wanted to come in here and kind of learn what I needed to learn and then go become a head coach myself. So it happened a little bit quicker than I was expecting, but I did feel like SCAD really prepared me with the resources that they have. Yes, they're at the NAIA level, but honestly, the type of player we were recruiting at SCAD is the same type of player I'm recruiting here. We were able to get big time players that have now gone on and played at schools like Oregon and Washington State. And so we were able to bring in big time players there. So looking to do the same thing here and win championships. And hey, who knows, national championships maybe.
And Amelia, obviously for you guys as a team, you've responded, and we've seen that. We talk about being prepared going into your senior year. You had all the tools to really kind of have a breakout season this year, and you were big down in Texas. One of the big reasons why you guys had as much success there as you did. What has it been about this season so far? What's clicked for you so far here early in this 25 season?
I feel like everyone just has the belief that this team is special and we can do something great. And so I feel like Sinead being added to the staff and Erica as well, they really just instilled this belief that like they believe in us, and that makes us believe in each other even more, honestly.
You know, I was looking at your resume a little bit here, Amelia, before the show, and you called Minnesota your home here for a couple of seasons before coming back here to Charlotte. And the question we haven't had a chance to talk a lot of players about this, but we found over the years that players have gone to schools that maybe out of state, you know, get their feet wet there, and they want to come home for their last couple of seasons. Is that something that you decided that you wanted to do, or is there something else that led you back here to Charlotte?
Yeah, I definitely wanted to come closer to home. I actually played with my sister for 2 years at Minnesota, and she was graduating, and I honestly just wanted more playing time as well. And a lot of my old teammates, they played here, and they had a great experience, so I wanted to come and join.
No, it's really cool because we've been talking to coaches about this. The dynamics of college soccer have changed, specifically in the women's game, tremendously, right? We've talked about all the time, right? Roster sizes have changed. I can't tell you how many players, and I know it's different for you now that you're a senior, but the players who were at guest last year who were committed to schools and now got uncommitted, have to now try to find a new home, has really created this kind of chaos in college soccer. What would be your message to the college athlete, the high school player right now who wants to go play at the next level about picking the right school or finding the right home? Because I think that's the biggest challenge in the climate today, is finding a place that you can call home for 4 years.
Yeah, I feel like the best advice that I could give to young athletes is to figure out what's most important to you when finding a home, and just knowing that not like everything is not going to be perfect. You're not going to have it figured out your first year. You know, you might get one thing and you might not get another thing on your wants list. So yeah, it's not ever going to be perfect, but it's just about figuring out what's most important to you.
You know, and I think it's a great answer, right? Because I think that the player out there today, and again, I've had conversations with a lot of players over the years, and everyone, and we even talked about this with like all the coaches we've talked to in the last couple of weeks, is that when you were growing up as a player in Cary, North Carolina, my guess is that if you're a soccer player, you were like one day saying, I would love to hoist that national championship trophy for UNC. Right, I mean, like Stanford, right? Because in the women's game, Stanford, UNC, Notre Dame, these are schools that traditionally have been like they've won many national championships. And when we talk to players or talk to athletes, it's like in your backyard, I'm thinking about catching that that ball from Tom Brady, as a Patriot, right? So it's like, how do players differentiate between what their dream might be of playing at that next level versus the realistic or the reality of where they might be able to go?
No, I mean, that it is really hard, honestly, because my sister, she was originally at UNC, and then she transferred to Minnesota, and then so we had 2 years together. And yeah, it's just about being realistic. That's all it is. And like sometimes the truth hurts, but you'd rather again, it's just about like what you want. You can go to UNC and you could ride the bench and still get a national championship, or you can go to a smaller school and still win a conference championship and go to the NCAA tournament and still do amazing things.
I wanted to ask you very quickly, because I think in order to be successful in this space, especially in women's soccer in the United States, there has to be a certain level of competitiveness, because this country is very deep when it comes to the women's game, specifically when it comes to soccer. I didn't even realize until I was reading up on you a little bit yesterday. Your dad, Chucky Brown, was drafted into the NBA in 1989. I completely didn't put two and two together, and he was kind of a journeyman. He played all over the NBA, but very successful college career. Someone that certainly made his name. And if you play that many years in the show, I mean, clearly you've done enough good work, and he's still a coach to this day. How much did he help kind of build that competitive nature in you? Because it seems like both you and your sister have that. How much of that came from Dad and the impact that he had on your early career?
A lot, for sure. And honestly, I feel like when you say like my dad was in the NBA, it was probably like he made me work out. It was never like that. It was all optional. I feel like that's what made it more inviting to go out to the field and go into the gym with him, because he was always, I'm going to the gym. Do you want to come with? Me and Isabella are doing this. Do you want to come with? So, yeah. And I also think looking up to my sister, just like seeing all the amazing things that she did, I just wanted to be like her. So it was really looking up to both of them. So I love them so much.
Did you turn Dad into a soccer fan when you started playing? I'm sure he became a big time fan when you started playing.
Yeah, he doesn't really understand everything though. So he
knows the ball has to go to the goal. So that's
yeah.
That's the gist.
Yes, he's a basketball awesome. Coach. And that's it.
And on the other side, Coach, I just wanted to ask you very quickly, because I know obviously when you climb levels, you talk about not only different sets of expectations, but you also talk about just a completely different landscape. And I think that's the thing that's interesting. We talk about everything that's changing in college athletics. A lot of that has to do with, well, what level are you at? Because depending on what level you're at, not only, again, the expectations change, but everything else changes along with that. When it comes to culture setting and developing that personal relationship with players, obviously Amelia being one of them, that's one of the most important things, at least from what we've heard from coaches. When you were first put into this position of taking over as interim head coach, what was step number one in getting the players to buy into your vision? And have you seen that buy-in early this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, step one was being clear and concise and honest. And so I have extremely high expectations. And it's so funny to me when people talk about the levels, because my expectations have not changed. Like when I knew I wanted to be a coach, my expectations were high. And that's not going to change as I move up through the levels here. And so that has remained constant, and the girls have really bought into that. And so being clear and concise with those, them knowing if they don't meet those expectations, what those consequences are. And they really got on board with that. And so they love doing push-ups, don't you?
Yeah.
Builds character.
But yeah, no, the girls are great. We've got a great group, great leadership, great captains.
You know, we've as we've talked about here throughout this show and throughout the last couple of weeks, we've had a chance to talk to a lot of coaches across the country, and we've talked to a lot of women's soccer head coaches over the last couple of weeks. And something that we talked about here even before the show is that we have yet to. This is our first interview with a women's soccer coach who happens to also be a woman, and I want to talk about that for a moment because again, in this space, when we see all these, and I cover a lot of college sports. I know, Nate, you do as well. In the women's game, we see a tremendous amount of men still coaching collegiate athletics. What is your thoughts about that as a woman in your role as a coach here, and how can we get more women in the head coaching roles across this country?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think honestly, it's opportunity, right? And so I wouldn't have gotten the interim tag here if I hadn't pushed myself out of my comfort zone and tried to not be comfortable at SCAD. I mean, obviously I had everything I really needed there, loved the location, but I knew I wanted to be a head coach at the Division 1 level. And so I had to push myself. I was lucky enough for a women's soccer coach to take a chance on me. And I do think that we just need to get more women onto staff at this level. I think it's unfortunate when we go and play and a women's soccer staff and the entire staff is men. I do think we need to get more women on the staff to give them an opportunity, and not just in the GA roles or the director of ops roles, like get them coaching. If women want to coach, we have to give them the opportunity. And then I think US Soccer is doing a really good job. I mean, I'm involved with US Soccer through the She Believes program and trying to get women into coaching. Amelia wants to coach and she's just finished her D license. And so trying to get women through that quicker, especially while they're still playing, I think, and letting them know that is an opportunity for them here is integral.
Yeah, no, I think it's great because, again, and Amelia, you can maybe attest to this. You have this desire to coach, right? You have this desire. How many of your fellow teammates had that same desire? I mean, because obviously it comes from the standpoint, too, that I wanted to coach. I knew as a player that I wanted to one day be a coach, so I became a coach. I also wanted to referee, so I did both of those things. And now I'm a broadcaster, so I guess I've done all the things you could possibly do in the sport. So how many of the players do you think that you are around you that want to be a coach as well?
I feel like of the teams that I've been on, I feel like only like 2 people have wanted to coach. So yeah, it's kind of disappointing to say, but I just think people have different ambitions and that's fine. But yeah, shout out Sophia Romine and Macy Bader, I guess.
No, that's really. I mean, again, that's the thing too. It's just like with refereeing too, and how many players want to become a ref? Because let's be honest, the best referees are former players, and I would imagine that just like when I was growing up, there were only a handful of kids that I played with that ever thought, hey, I want to go pick up that whistle and become a referee. I'm curious in that how many players have you ever refereed a game before?
Me?
Yeah. Have you ever refereed? Have you ever gotten to refereeing at all or no? No.
I've never. I'm normally the one yelling.
We need more of those, though. We need more referees too.
We had a practice. When was that? Last week or the week before, where I was the referee, calling some wild calls, and let me tell you, that practice went downhill real quick. Jeez.
No, that's awesome. So my last question, because I know Nate's going to have a couple follow-up questions as well, is we asked Amelia about destination, about why she came back to Charlotte, back to North Carolina. We've talked with all these different conferences, and we again, when we talk about the player who's looking to go and play at that next level, there are what we call destination schools, right? And we typically your Power 5 or your if you're an athlete, you want to go play for the highest, the best conference, the best team in the conference, right? And typically that's the Power 5, right? And so like you chose Minnesota, Big Ten. It's a big time school, big program, and you found your successes, and then, hey, you found out, hey, I want to go here and come back home. The player out there who's like wants to maybe consider coming to Charlotte, why would they pick Charlotte over another university in the same conference? And more importantly, maybe decide not to go to a Minnesota to start their career and be at Charlotte and be there for their entire 4 years?
Yeah, I'll start. You can follow up. I think for me, I never wanted to go to and coach at a program that couldn't win. And so I think that's massive that we have the resources, the location, and the school's backing to be successful here. We're in a conference that can win championships, and we're in a really good conference. I mean, we're in, there's teams in our conference ranked in the top 25. There's no doubt in my mind that we can be ranked up there too, and be going to the tournament and actually beat these Power Four teams. I mean, we played quite a few of them non-conference. And so I think we're in and around. And so I think it's just up to the player who, do you want to go to maybe a Power Four and it's not one of the top 4 or 5s in the conference, and so you're just getting beat up every week? Or do you want to win, right? And so if you want to win, you need to come here and win, because we're going to win championships here. And let me tell you, it's much more fun winning championships and getting to go to the tournament instead of saying you played at the Power Four level, but you don't get to go to the tournament and you don't win. And so that's big for me. We're going to create winners here. What would you add?
No, I feel like you said it. Again, like, winning is amazing. I love winning. Who likes to lose? So, yeah, I also think it's about standing out and finding your school where you do that. Because, again, like, playing time is a big reason why I transferred. And, like, for some people it's different. But, yeah, I wanted to stand out, and I wanted to make my impact not only on, like, for myself, but also on the program. And I want to leave a good legacy. So.
Absolutely.
Before I get to the final question of this interview, I wanted to very quickly ask Amelia something, because we've talked a lot about the transfer portal on this show. We've talked to a lot of coaches and we've talked to a lot of individuals, but we haven't gotten the opportunity to talk to someone who has specifically gone through that process, which in my mind, it seems pretty straightforward, sure. But there's also an element there of having to, number one, make that decision and make that change, which is hard. And change is hard. It doesn't matter who it is, whether you're an athlete, whether you're a coach. And so making that change and making that decision and having to tell the people at Minnesota, like, hey, I'm leaving, is probably a somewhat difficult process to go through. From your perspective, I guess if you were to summarize, what does that process look like going into the transfer portal and finding a new home and coming home back to North Carolina?
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy process, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. So that is the advice I also give to other players. But honestly, making the decision to go into the portal, it wasn't an immediate, like, oh, I'm leaving. It definitely took some time, and talking to people I trust, my family and teammates. When I made the decision, it definitely is scary, but I knew it was the right decision for me. And I would rather go into a decision or make a decision where, like, it seems scary than stay in a situation where I know it's not going to change. So yeah, it's just about what's doing best for you. And you're jumping into the unknown because you don't know if schools are going to reach out to you, and stuff like that. But yeah, I just had confidence in myself, and I knew I was a good player and I was going to go somewhere. So yeah.
What helped you the most in taking that risk? Was there someone who was helping you through that process?
Probably my mom. I feel like she's not, the most athletic person, even though she'd like to make it seem like she is. So when it comes to, like, working out and stuff, I go to my dad. But when it comes to, like, moral support, my mom is definitely the person I go to. And, like, any time where, like, I'm doubting myself, like, I'm not going to get picked up, stuff like that, she's the first person to call and be like, "You're amazing, sweetie. You're awesome."
I love moms. That's the greatest.
Yeah, it's needed.
I do want to ask this question, because I think that and everyone's journey is going to be different, right? Everyone's going to have a different outcome, and I always say this because the grass isn't always greener, right? That's something that my dad taught me growing up too. Like, hey, before you make that jump, make sure you understand what you're getting yourself into, right? And I think there's a lot of players out there that have used the transfer portal to do what you've done. But then you're finding some players who are going to, they're going here, then they're going the next year, the next place, right? They're trying to find their home, and maybe they didn't make the right decision the first time around. Now they're on that second or that third decision. You obviously had a great support system to help guide you, right? You had your parents, and you had your sister. What would be the advice to that player too, right? Who maybe there's that uncertainty about what you're about to walk into. Because again, if you think about this too, you came in last year, you had another head coach. Now you have you have Sinead there. But if you'd come in now as a senior with an interim coach, that's a little different, right? So there's different dynamics at play here. I'm just curious your thoughts on that.
Yeah, again, I feel like it's just give and take. So whatever is most important to you. And again, like there are things at Minnesota that I don't have here, and there's things here that I didn't have at Minnesota. And it's not that one school or one experience is better than the other. I love both of my experiences at both schools. But yeah, I just feel like not everything is going to be picture perfect the way you want it to be. So it's just about making the best of what you have and the people who are around you.
All right, I got one more question for you guys. I'm going to put you on the spot here. And I love North Carolina I love Carolina in general for whatever it's worth. I've actually been through Charlotte a couple of different times, most of the times going south. If I were to come back, though, because I don't remember the last place I went to. I think it was a steakhouse of some sort the last time I was in Charlotte. Can't remember the name. Good stuff. But if I were to come back, if any of us were to come back, what's the one place we should go to get food in your mind?
This is the perfect question.
Don't give me a chain restaurant. Don't give me a chain restaurant. Someone said Panera the other day, and I almost came through the screen. Or Olive Garden.
No. I'm such a foodie. You have to go to a restaurant called Spaghetti. And so it's just opened. Sam Hart's the chef there. He also has another restaurant called Counter, which is a tasting menu. Unbelievable. But go to Spaghetti.
Okay.
It's called Baguette.
Spaghetti.
Oh, spaghetti. I just want to make sure.
Baguette.
Spaghetti. Yeah. The accent really got us there.
Honestly, I don't really go to restaurants.
Yeah. Amelia's too busy. She does
Really?
like magic sushi, though.
Yes,
Big
sushi is good.
Big magic sushi fan.
Yeah.
It's an all-you-can-eat sushi
Ooh.
place. Very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spaghetti by the way, looks really bougie.
No, it is, but
Yeah,
I am really.
I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at their menu. Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's bougie, but I am a massive foodie. So this is perfect.
That was perfect.
And wait, so you're saying you don't go out at all, Amelia? You said sushi's
Well, like the stuff is in Uptown, so it's like a 20-minute drive, and it's like I have class and we have practice. Do I really want to drive 20 minutes out and then like get dressed and stuff? I'm like, I'll just DoorDash. I'll just
okay.
get
So what are you
cookout.
getting on DoorDash then?
Sushi, and I got a poke bowl yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Okay, she's just
That's
ordering
good.
sushi on DoorDash. All right, well there it is. Dior de Chez, along with spaghetti.
That's this generation, folks. DoorDash.
Well, we want to thank both of you for joining us this morning. We had a blast. Hopefully you did as well. And we wish you and the 49ers much success here the rest of the way.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
We're excited. Thank you for having us on.
You're very, very
Thanks,
welcome.
guys.
Well, you heard it there, spaghetti, right? That was. I look at their menu. Their menu's pretty legit. I mean, there's this like tart looking dish. I mean, it looks really cool. So, but. Again, we want to thank both Sinead Byrne and Amelia Brown for joining us here this morning on Inside the Game. We come back here, we'll dive into our preview of the U.S. Men's Open Cup Final here tomorrow night.
Experience the thrill of the game like never before with NSN's Game Rewind.
Dive into full match commentaries enhanced with cutting-edge dynamic graphics.
Letting you relive the highs and lows of your favorite matches in astonishing detail.
Whether it's a championship win or a legendary play,
NSN Game Rewind bridges the past and future with a broadcast experience designed to captivate.
call 586-304-4405
And start watching today.
An all-out battle of skill, passion, and determination. The NISA Pro Cup, presented by the National Soccer Network. The stage is set. 10 teams, 8 days, 1 trophy, 1 moment, exclusively on Roku TV. It all kicks off October 13th on the National Soccer Network. The stage is set for championship glory. Tomorrow night, the Catholic High School League Boys Soccer Finals take center stage, presented by Soccer World. The best teams in the CHSL battle it out under the lights, bought with bragging rights and the title on the line. Intensity, passion, and high-level soccer you won't want to miss. Coverage begins tomorrow night only on the Michigan Soccer Network. The stage is set for
Welcome back to Inside the Game.
Him laughing in the background.
It didn't hit stop as he expected it to.
Oh,
That's Ryan Glinsky, our producer, everybody. That's a round of applause. There we go.
Yeah, way to mess up, Ryan. That was bad.
Oh, my God.
Man, that was good. That was good. Jonathan Turner, Nathan Wangler, Ryan Glinsky, as everybody alluded to, in charge of all of our production here today, and every day for that matter.
Oh, man.
Gotta give him some love. Hey, so we want to obviously start talking about the U.S. Open Cup. We've been talking about the U.S. Open Cup here since it began, really back a lot of the bigger matchups after qualifying, and we are at the final tomorrow night, and Nashville will travel into Austin FC. That game, again, kicks off tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, I believe 9 o'clock Central. Is that right? 7 o'clock Central.
Yeah,
Anyway.
7 o'clock Central,
Yeah.
8 p.m. Eastern.
So neither of these two teams have ever won the U.S. Open Cup. And so tomorrow night they'll have that opportunity to hoist a trophy. Austin FC defeated Minnesota United, which I know Ryan has been very excited about. Minnesota United, maybe we'll see some Minnesota United fans popping in here. Maybe Ryan will even make a video about that, how tomorrow night's game will not include Minnesota United.
Ooh, you gave me an idea. I mean, yeah, I can do it if you want.
But they beat Minnesota United. Nashville defeated Philadelphia Union 3-1. And Sam Surridge had a hat trick in that game. So it's interesting to see what happens tomorrow night. I'm curious. We will be doing our picks here as well. I'm curious your thoughts before we get into any of that.
Well, Nashville has a mix of stars and dirty workers, and I like that dynamic of when you look at the way that they're constructed. It's cool to see, and that's something that I think speaks to a team that could very well win a championship. And so Sam Surridge has been on an absolute heater as of late, but I think they're a stout team. I think they're physical. I think they're gritty. I think they're all those things that you want them to be. But the big question in my mind coming into this final is, can they get past Austin FC's defense? Like, that has been the biggest question mark on my mind. And when we look at all these previews, and I've been reading a couple of them, like, can they find a way to get past Austin FC and what they've presented on the defensive side? Because this could very well, and if we're giving out predictions, this could be a low-scoring late, like 1 goal late in the game decides this because of how they kind of cancel each other out in that way. So Nashville FC has a lot of good pieces, but I think Austin FC is just they're another team that they're just gritty and they're great. Their back line is where it needs to be the majority of the time. And they say, defense wins championships. That could very well be the case for Austin FC here tonight. If they play the way that it should look, if they play the way that they know how to play, this should be no problem for them to bring home number one. But it's always nice when you have that extra added storyline about neither of the two sides have ever won this championship before. So we're going to see a first, whatever way you cut it in that game.
I'll add this. No Minnesota United, so I'm fine. No, I'm just kidding. But no,
Yeah.
But you know, I was looking at a couple of previews as well, but I was looking at a power stat strictly for you, Nate. To your point about Austin FC, they have only lost 2 games all year at home in all competitions. So every single thing they've only lost 2. But I also want to highlight this. So obviously, I'm 22, so this is fine. But Austin FC's got some pre-match activities going on. $4 Michelob Ultras. $4 at a sporting event. That's cheap. Like, that should not be that cheap. And they have DJs, they have bands. So Austin FC is doing something right a little bit pre-match. We're getting back to the game a little bit.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
You talk about Austin FC's defense. I mean, Nashville ranks top 10 in goals and goals against. So this is going. I think this is really going to be like a 1-0 type of game. Maybe a 1-1 goes into extra time shootouts, something like that. But I think this is going to be a very, very fun game. Sam Surge, as you mentioned, he's only behind in terms of the goals Lionel Messi and Lionel Messi. So So this is going to be a great game. I'm really looking forward to it, but it's going to be a slug it out type of game for sure.
Yeah, everything about it just screams knockdown, drag out, like 1-0, late goal, dramatics, something along those lines. And I mean, that's the perfect setup for a championship in my mind. But yeah, what to your point about how Austin is doing it. I mean, you know, everything's bigger in Texas, man, but also it's Austin at the same time too. Like they got a passionate group down there, and it's a good place to be when you got a home field and a home pitch that people they don't have success at, and then you combine that with a team that plays great defense. You know, I mean, it's like the steel curtain, man. Like you just can't get past them. So
and they have McConaughey. All right.
Yeah. So everything's bigger in Texas.
They don't have Batman though.
No, they don't have Batman. Hordes down.
Oh man! Well, the U.S. Open Cup game tomorrow night. We'll talk more about it tomorrow. We will also give you our picks here of who we think will win here tomorrow as well. So that'll be on our show here tomorrow morning. So make sure you come back for that. Here's what we're gonna do. We've already talked about how we're covering the CHSL finals here tomorrow night. We've already played the commercial. We will obviously preview those matchups here tomorrow during our show. We come back here from commercial. We have some mailbag. We'll get into some comments. A lot of comments still coming through here on TikTok and some of our other social media. So we'll get into that here as well this morning. So don't go anywhere. Inside the Game 169 continues.
Are you ready to create unforgettable moments for your audience? NSN offers professional live streaming and full broadcast services tailored to your needs.
From high-quality production to exceptional coverage,
We ensure your game or event becomes a spectacle to remember. Book your next game with us today
call 586-304-4405 to schedule your broadcast.
and let NSN bring the action to life like never before.
Welcome back here to Inside the Game here on this Tuesday morning, last day of September here as we officially make our way into October here tomorrow. My goodness, the year has flown by. Nate, it's just flying.
Yeah, well, as it always does, and so, but we keep doing our thing, and it's a lot of exciting stuff coming up.
So, World Cup is coming here in less than a year, and the draw will take place here in December, and obviously we'll have full coverage of that. But it is already determined where the first match of the 2026 World Cup will take place. It'll take place here. Opening match of the World Cup will be in the Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. Has been named as the stadium for the opening match of the 2026 World Cup. This match will take place on June the 11th. It will consist of Mexico versus a nation in their group. This will be the start of the largest World Cup ever seen, with 48 teams being involved. And so that is where the first game of the 2026 World Cup will take place.
That's a sick place to have it, Mexico City. I mean, it's interesting. I watched some of these podcasts with these former USMNT players, and they always talk about how the walking into Mexico City to play against Mexico, it is a hostile environment that it cannot be rivaled in a lot of ways by really anywhere in any other experience for an American player playing the sport in the world. Like, when you walk into that place, there's a certain gravity to what exactly you're feeling and what exactly it is you're experiencing. I mean, it's a house of horrors, and even, I mean, you think playing on the West Coast is bad, because I'm sure it feels like Mexico City, and a lot of times when they play in California, but walking into Mexico City, you're walking into the oven. And so I'll be interested to see exactly who Mexico pulls for that game. I think it's great that it's starting there. I think it's going to be a spirited match, and obviously in a place where they're very passionate. And I know that the Mexican fans are going to show up and show out the way that they always do. But I'm interested to see exactly who they draw for that. I mean, selfishly, it'd be cool to see the U.S. and Mexico kick it off in Mexico City. I feel like that would be the most fitting way to introduce the world's game to this side of the planet, and the U.S. and Mexico rivalry. It'd be a fun time, but we'll see. We'll see exactly who they pull.
Yeah, no doubt. And again, that draw will take place, I believe it's the 5th of December. It's like 12/5, I believe is the actual date it will take place.
I can search that up real quick.
Don't want to forget, coming up here on Friday, we do have our NISA Pro Cup drawing. That will take place at 8 p.m. Eastern between me here and, Ryan and I will handle that here, as well as other duties on Friday night. So we're excited about that. That tournament actually kicks off here a week from Monday. So we're, again, excited. Ryan keeps saying, because we're all getting over a sickness here. He kept saying we're all gonna not be around. We're gonna be dead by the time. What was it like? We're not gonna have her all be dead.
Yeah. So the NISA thing, it was like last week, I think, is when I was really sick, and Bianca was sick, and then you were getting sick, and it was like, yeah, this NISA tournament's not even gonna happen because we're all gonna be dead unless Nate just carries us and does everything from a production standpoint.
Oh, he's going to carry us.
So I was like, all right, it looks like Nate's going to be the only one to survive this. So
carrying y'all there.
That's right.
One by one.
To answer your question, yes, the World Cup draw is December 5th.
There you go. So I'm sure we have some comments and some questions that we've gotten here over the last couple of days on social media. I know that you posted something yesterday on TikTok. I think both of you did. That got some good comments. So let's dive into our mailbag.
Oh yes, but the first, this was coming from last week. Nate made a video against his beloved Indiana Hoosiers, and everyone was like, Michigan State, it's a soccer school now, which, I mean, kind of makes sense. And there's a TikTok just being dumb. And then someone named Ryan Glinsky said, but Nate, Indiana is your team. How could you do this? How could you make a video, Nate, against your Hoosiers?
It did hurt my soul. It did a little bit. No, and what even hurts my soul more is the fact that Michigan State followed that up with a big win over number 5 Michigan at the same time, right? So not only did they top number 3 in the country in Indiana, they turned around and they beat Michigan for the, what do they call it? I think they're the trophy they play for is the Big Brown Bear. That's football. Yeah, the brown
big
bear
brown
is
bear, yeah.
soccer, but that's a fun little trophy, man. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it hurts my soul. All right, I come from a neutral perspective. Just giving my takes on this. I did like our conversation with Damon Rensing earlier this year, and I did think it was interesting that he mentioned that this group is good. Yeah, I mean, he was talking this group up specifically, and I know that's what coaches are supposed to do. Like, I get it. Like, if you're the head coach, you're supposed to talk up the group that you're coaching right now, but he might be onto something. Like, he might actually have a point. Like, the Indiana and Michigan wins are a big deal for MSU, and they're going to start getting a lot more eyeballs and a lot more respect if they keep winning Big Ten games just like that. But yeah, it hurt a little bit, okay? I mean, I know you hate my Indiana fandom, Ryan. I just, it's little old Indiana, okay? Let them have something. They don't have anything.
This one also from a Nate video, actually coming from one of the shows about investing in the USL. And I want to read these two comments, and you guys can discuss it back and forth. Castro Football said the MLS is better. And I feel fine. This is the guy's name, and we around in the studio are feeling a little bit better. Says the play, yes, is better, but the structure, no. The USL is better in terms of structure. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, I mean, the USL has obviously more tiers to it too, right? And so because of that, it forces you to have organizational structure in ways that the MLS didn't have. Keep in mind, the MLS started off as its own league, and then from there it created MLS Next, created the MLS Academy, the academy system, right? And so it started off the top tier, and then it started working its way down. The USL started off with its lower tiers and worked its way up. I think that's probably a core reason as to why it might be even more organizationally structured than the MLS. I've had a chance to work with the brass at USL, and they're phenomenal. And so I've never worked with the MLS. I couldn't tell you what their interaction is like with them, but I would there's an argument for, I think, the USL being more organized. But again, hindsight being 2020, the MLS obviously did start as the MLS first, and then it created its lower tiered systems within its own leagues. And those are only, they're not that old. I mean, we're talking less than 15 years old. I think, and the MLS Next Pro, I think, is only 4 years old. I think that's important to also acknowledge.
Oh, and of course the level of play is going to be better in the MLS. Like that seems like a no duh kind of question. Like, yes, obviously it's the highest league in the United States.
Soccer
like
player of all time is also in the league too. So
they look at the U.S. Open Cup. I mean, they sprinkle in the MLS teams later and they all win. So I mean, like this, of course. But the reason why I say it's a good investment is because it's a grassroots league that is growing. So that was the point in what I was saying. Like, it's time to invest your money into something like the USL because they do have a good structured system. They do, and they're continuing to grow. And they're implementing these teams and putting these teams in certain cities that have, I mean, the boom in terms of attendance has allowed them to continue to build up, continue to build more. A lot of these communities that, again, they don't have Major League Soccer, they are rallying behind the team that they do have, which is the USL team. You think of Annapolis, you think of Vermont, you think of even Pittsburgh. They don't have an MLS team. Detroit, another prime example. Like these cities see their USL team and they're like, we want to rally behind them because it's their team. The MLS doesn't represent every single city in America. Yeah, there are some major cities with MLS teams, but the USL is a grassroots league that continues to grow and expand. So from an investment perspective, like if I'm going to put my money into something, of course I would want to put it in the USL. I don't think that's something that's really debatable. So yeah, we're not talking about level of play though. That's not the point in what I'm saying. Is it a good investment? I think it is right now.
Let's get into the question of the day. But before we do that, Salt Athletic, an official sponsor of us here at NSN, use promo code NSN15 to save 15% off. Scan that QR code or visit saltathletic.com today. But before we get into the question of the day, let me build this in why I picked this question. So yesterday, Obviously, we know Christian Pulisic has been absolutely killing it over in AC Milan. And I just happened to come across a video from like Italy, and these newscasters, and they're hugging each other on live TV and chanting like face to face, "Puli, Puli, 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 Puli," and they're loving it. So my question is, why don't USA fans like Pulisic the way AC Milan fans do?
Well, one is it's culture, right? We are not a soccer first country, and so I think that has a lot to do with it. We were at the U.S. men's national team game here just a few weeks ago, and I think from our interaction there, I felt like there was just a lot of love in that section for the team as a whole. But I don't know if I heard any Pulisic chants in that environment at all. Again, I think if he had scored a goal, I think you probably would have. Maybe. Again, it's what have you done for me lately? Right? And is AC Milan going to be like cheering for him if he's only gotten 1 assist this entire season? So I think success has something to do with it. And so if Pulisic goes off and starts scoring a bunch of goals and having a bunch of assists like he's doing right now in AC Milan, I think absolutely the American soccer fan would be yelling Pulisic like, they're doing over there. But he hasn't done that yet, so he needs to do that here, and then I think that would actually happen here.
And to JT's point, what he said, the soccer players aren't the biggest superstars in the United States. So, if our entire country was following as closely as they are in Italy, and they were as invested in the sport, I'm sure they probably would see and respect and, revere Christian Pulisic and what he's doing this year a little bit more. But, to that point, the what have you done for me lately? I think it's because of everything that's happened around the U.S. men's national team specifically. I think that just doesn't sit well with U.S. fans. And I know he looked better against Japan, and obviously, things seem to be going in the right direction with what he's doing on the U.S. men's national team. But from simply an American perspective, that didn't sit well with them. These AC Milan fans aren't going to be cheering for Christian Pulisic when the World Cup comes around in 2026. They're cheering for him because he's doing great things at AC Milan. But for American fans, it really doesn't do much for us. It's an Italian league. I'm not from there. I'm from here. So obviously I want to see what he can do in the red, white, and blue. Now, if all that translates, then that's great. And we've talked about that translating to his play in the red, white, and blue. But does that happen? Then I think you'll start to see American fans really get into it. I think there have been sections of his career where they have really kind of adored Christian Pulisic. But I just think this year hasn't really been, in terms of all the drama and the this, that, and the other thing, and the agents and the dad and the Dempsey and Donovan and all that drama. I just don't think it's sat well with American fans. But again, if he turns around and scores a goal or maybe a couple of goals in the next international window, I think we're going to be looking at a very different conversation.
Yeah, I was just curious because I've never seen newscasters look at each other this close to each other, yelling a player's name. So I definitely think it's a cultural thing for sure, because I personally think European fans are the most passionate. They're look at the Ryder Cup, for crying out loud. We have England. We have the English fans saying, "Can we play you? Can we play you every week?" And you hear that in soccer. So to hear that in golf, I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, and I think too, if the movie Cool Runnings, do you remember the movie Cool Runnings?
Great movie.
Right?
Movie.
Well, at the end, what are the commentators doing? They put on Team Jamaica, right? And they're wearing their swag. At the beginning, they're all making fun of them, and then at the end, they're all loving them, right? And so I think there's something to be said about that too, right? And I think what is Pulisic doing right now? He's having a great time right now. He's having a great moment. And if he can continue to ride that and have this long-term success, where he's not going to be like 12 goals and 12 games. That's not realistic. It's going to end up being more like he'll have 2 or 3 points every 5, 6, 7 games. I mean, naturally things will start to kind of space themselves out, maybe. You know what I mean? But you're not going to see this 6 and 6 and 7 and oh my gosh, I'm saying it again here. Every time I say 6 and 7, this guy loses his shit over here, Ryan Glinsky. But yeah, so we're not gonna see that long term. We're gonna see it start to kind of average out and to not be as he's doing this right now. It's not sustainable. The key is whether or not the fans. And these broadcasters over there continued on. And I'm curious. I think we should mark this moment in time and come back here in 2 months and see if they're doing the exact same stuff. Because if he's kind of taken this, he's leveled off a little bit, will they still have that same love? I'm curious.
Yeah. Because
we ride the things that are great until they're not. And then we ride the next one, right? So. Yeah. Anyways, great show. Great guests. We've got. They continue. We were supposed to do Bob Butehorn this morning, pre-recorded from last week, but we pushed that to tomorrow. And then on Thursday, I think it's tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we've got, I believe, both. We're going to do Toledo, both the coach, Mark Batman, and the players. On Thursday morning as well, which will give maybe Friday give us a breather from all things.
It might be the first day we don't have an interview for by 2 weeks.
Hey, it's been great though. It's been
fine.
great. It's been great. We've had some great conversations, and we'll take a breather and get back at this. But we're excited. Hey, it's my understanding they're going to be announcing the roster for October here today, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, there should be. I can. Also, we got to give a shout out. The U20 USA team beat New Caledonia 7-0 yesterday.
Yeah,
so shout out to
them.
It
might have been more. There was 7-0 at halftime. I know that John Strong was like, "Wow, if we asked the players to dream a perfect start, I don't think they would have picked this start." They scored 4 goals in 2 minutes. It's just So I guess it was a great start to their World Cup.
9-1. They won 9-1.
There you go.
They scored 1, 2, 3 goals in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. You couldn't have asked
over
for a
New
start.
Caledonia?
To New Caledonia.
Yeah.
The powerhouse that is New Caledonia.
I broadcast football at the old Caledonia here in Michigan.
Well, clearly they need a better.
No, that joke didn't land. Okay, all right.
No, it landed, but it just landed really softly. For once, it wasn't me.
That's true.
For once, the dad joke it wasn't coming from me. I feel good. Good
I'll take that one
here. Great way to end the month with Nate's joke that didn't land. Is the way that you wanted to. But either way, we're happy that you stopped on by here this Tuesday morning. Don't forget to subscribe, like us, share this with your friends and family. Make sure you come back here tomorrow. We have a great interview lined up with University of South Florida in the AAC, the American Conference, Mr. Bob Butehorn, the men's soccer coach there at the University of South Florida. That'll be tomorrow morning. So we'll be back here tomorrow. Same time, same place. That's Ryan Glinsky, our producer, Nate Wengler. I'm Jonathan Turner. Be back here tomorrow morning on the National Soccer Network. From the biggest matches to the hottest takes, Jonathan Turner and Nathan Wengler bring you the stories, the analysis, and the edge you won't get anywhere else. Streaming live weekdays at 9 a.m. on YouTube, Roku TV, Facebook, Twitter, and all major platforms. No filters, no fluff, just real talk, real soccer. This is Inside the Game.